was where the Browns rank right now in the AFC. Think about that for a minute. Let's talk about the Guardians for a sec. Stephen Vogt is the new manager. Go ahead.
I just want to – we made something for you, Bull, real quick. And Stevie, take tag word.
You guys
Bull.
trying to make up for their
inappropriate
behavior earlier.
We do love you, Bull. We do love you. We wanted the proper time before we talk Guardians to make the appropriate graphics and stuff. So, Anthony, if we could get the Stephen Vogt bio up here, please. We even have a bio for him.
It's bad enough Earl steals all his takes from his cousin.
Well, this is the new Guardians manager, Stephen Vogt. Bull, feel free to chime in. You know him better than we all do.
What I wanted to say before is but I'll get to it in a second. Stephen Vogt just retired at the end of the 2022 season. So he's only been retired for a year. He went on the Mariners coaching staff. Okay. Now, many good managers in Major League Baseball are former catchers. Mm-hmm. We've seen it time and time again. This guy has, again, I thought the Guardians needed I wanted out of the organization, they needed a fresh voice and a fresh perspective. I thought they needed a younger manager after many years of a veteran manager. Terry Francona did a great job here. I think he's going to connect with players because he just retired as a player. Now, when Stephen Vogt's name was first mentioned as a possibility for the Guardians, I texted my friend Mike Ferrin. For those who don't know, Mike is hosts a show on MLB Network Radio. I would say, Mike, in my opinion, and I'm very snobby about my baseball knowledge, I would say I have never met or heard anybody on the radio that did not play Major League Baseball that knows more about baseball than Mike Ferrin. And he knows a lot of the players because he spends a lot of time around the fields and whatever. Anyway, I asked him his thoughts on Vogt, and this is what he said to me. He said, I am a huge, all caps, fan. Incomparably good human, bright, data savvy with old school edge. There'll be some bumps in the road learning on the job, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a better human being to get that job. I think it's important when you hire an inexperienced manager to find a veteran bench coach, right? A guy who's been around the league in a while. But I think this is a really nice hire by the Guardians, guys.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, I guess, that this is the way it went. I didn't think Craig Counsell was coming here. I know that's been a name that's been rumored. I never saw it because what's the difference in Cleveland and Milwaukee? It's a small market, payroll limitations.
Yeah, if he's going to leave, he's going to go to the Mets where they're going to spend a ton of money.
He's going to go to New York if he goes anywhere. And Vogt always, Vogt's name sort of emerged a couple weeks ago. Jeff Passan put it out there, and so it was always sort of floating in the ether. Young guy, first opportunity. We talked about with Kevin Stefanski. He's got to learn on the job. He's got to get better over the years, and you would hope that, the Guardians have a pretty good track record in terms of hiring. So you would hope that Vogt will be here for quite a while, in the mold of Terry. Now, the interesting thing is Tito was one of the highest paid managers in the game. Like, they were writing checks for Terry. Obviously, that's not going to be the case with him.
Correct.
So does this free up a little bit more money now that you can then funnel back into the payroll? Just
Isn't that sad that we'd have to have that conversation?
I'm just pointing it out.
I mean, that's
he was Terry. I think Tito was making
I
think in the neighborhood of $5 million.
He was the highest paid manager in baseball.
Stephen Vogt's probably making $1 million.
Probably.
Right.
So I mean, every dollar counts. So maybe they can now funnel that money back into payroll. We'll see.
I don't know much about him. Hopefully, they do right by him. In terms of, are you going to go out and get, some bats for the man? Are you going to go out? Because here's the thing. Anybody you bring in after Tito, you gotta realize this: the organization is in a very vulnerable spot. Because when you do have Tito, what happens is guys like me, fair weather guys, or guys that are, I'm gonna watch you if you get to the playoffs, or if you got a great team. The fair weather people is where you make your money at. The fair weather guys, the walk up crowds, those guys, that's where they're going to be putting money in your pockets. But if you look at it and you got a guy who comes in that doesn't really have any cachet, he's a new guy, not really a face of anything, they're not going to be patient like that.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be waiting on you year after year.
Right.
You got to show them dividends today.
Yeah.
Tito was like a dam. He held a lot of stuff back, like because the hard baseball people wouldn't let the other baseball people jump all over him because he'd be like, "Listen, it's Tito. Be cool. You lucky to have him."
He's not getting that.
He's not getting that.
No, and they do need to add some bats, and that's something we'll talk about down the line.
It is interesting. You don't want to be the guy who replaces the legend. You know, you don't want to be Ron Zook to Steve Spurrier.
Right.
You want to be Urban Meyer to Ron Zook. You want to be the guy who replaces the guy who replaced the guy.
Yes.
So that's something he's going to have to overcome. But the organization, Tito talked about this when at the end of season that like this organization's in a really good spot. And a lot of times when you have a new manager coming in, it's because the team sucks. And everybody got fired, and you're in the middle of a rebuild, and you're going to lose a ton of games. That's not the case. Like, this is a really, really good job. So, hopefully Vogt can come in. I think it's
it's decent.
with-
I mean, they got a lot of work to do in the lineup.
They do, but I said this during the season. They could flip this. It fell apart relatively quickly from where they were last year to how this year went. They could flip it back. They're a couple bats away from really flipping this back. The pitching is sound. The farm system is there. They just need a couple of things.
They're going to flip Bieber this offseason.
And they can turn this.
More on that. By the way, I'll be doing a podcast. I was going to do it tonight, but I'm just going to wait till tomorrow morning, and I'll talk more about this and more about what they need to do offensively. Free agency, I believe, starts I can't remember if it's today or tomorrow that it officially
The GM meetings
starts.
are coming up.
So there you go. All right.
But free agency in baseball starts already?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Guys file after the World Series, right after the World Series.
It starts 5 days after the World Series ends.
Oh, I thought it was a week in 5 days. That's a bad job out of me.
I can't remember if it's today or tomorrow. I don't remember the exact date that the World Series ended now.